Hey, how's everyone doing out there?
How's it going, guys? Good evening. Good evening. It is 8 p.m., September 8th, 2021. And John and I are here for our weekly live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and also on, we're here on TikTok.
That's right. So if you see me looking to the side here, I'm going to be monitoring the TikTok questions that are coming in. And hello to you TikTok folks. As soon as I see your info coming in, I will field it. It is better to go through Facebook, though. That's the better way to get your questions answered. So if you're joining us on TikTok, that's cool. But it's better to go through Facebook because it's easier for us to see the questions, and we can also post them up so others will benefit from them.
There are also not as many questions on Facebook, so there's an advantage. So if you want to go to our Facebook page, you can go to what is it? I'm sorry. It's at Gardner Mendoza Law on Facebook. So yeah, we haven't been here in a couple of weeks because of traveling and holidays and everything else. It's been quite a whirlwind.
It's been quite a whirlwind. A lot of really exciting things going on personally for our family. And we're really happy about all of that. And we've missed a few weeks, but it's nice to be back because this is our family too. And hopefully everybody brought their questions. I'm John Gardner. This is my wife and law partner, Radlin Mendoza. And we come to you every week, as Radlin was just saying, and we like to answer your immigration questions. We give you legislative updates, immigration updates, anything dealing with the law that we think would be helpful to you. We try to pass it on. And
Absolutely.
If you have questions, make sure you give them to us. Okay?
Yeah, put them in the comments right now. And hello to everyone who's joining us.
Yeah.
Hello, Miss Lilybeth, Miss Lovely. I see my auntie Tita Miriam is here from LA. Hello, yeah. Ron.
We love to see this. We like to see the switchboard lighting up.
The switchboard is lighting up. Yeah.
That was a joke.
That was somebody who was born a while ago.
I'm throwing that one out. And just, if my mom or my aunts are joining us.
That's right. I told my parents to join. Hopefully mom and dad, if you're here, say hello. My dad says I should go on YouTube, but he hasn't seen the Facebook Live yet. We've been doing it for over a year.
And my mom usually joins us and I find out later. So Mama, if you're on, hello. Enjoy.
Yeah. Hello to all of our family. Hello to all of our friends. Thank you guys. Yeah. But as John was saying, we've been gone. We dropped our oldest daughter off at the University of Vermont, where she is. She's an 11-hour drive from us. And it's tough. Whoever is going through that or has gone through that, you all know what we're talking about. It's hard to have one family member not living under your roof when they've been living under your roof for so long, for 17 years. So anyhow, she's doing almost 18, right? She's doing well. And but there were a couple of rough patches there, as to be expected. But she's just like all the other college students, just kind of going through it. Adjusting to cafeteria food. My cooking was the best, right?
Yeah, of course.
Bagel baker, the best.
Mm-hmm.
And just also being away from all of her really good friends that she established here. But she's doing great. So thank you for your patience. If you've been waiting for us to come back on. And again, if there are any questions, pop them up on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And before we go any further, I do want to remind everyone that what we do here is for educational and informational purposes only. It is technically not legal advice, but bring your questions and we will absolutely give you some answers on it if we can. And then if you want to hire us or hire some other immigration lawyer that maybe is better suited for you, then you can get some technical legal advice on the same questions.
I don't know who could be better suited than us, but hey, it's a personal preference. I'm just kidding. There are many fantastic immigration.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We have clients all over the United States and all over the world, and we have for 20 plus years. And for several years now, we've been doing a lot of things virtually through Zoom and phone calls and documents through DocuSign. So for us, all the virtual stuff is nothing new. We've been doing it for years and years. With the pandemic, everybody sort of learned a little bit how to do business that way. And so we're used to having clients all over. So no matter where you are, if you want us to represent you, we're happy to do it. But every once in a while, you do have a client who just feels more comfortable with somebody who's right in their own backyard.
Yeah,
so maybe
absolutely.
if they live in Arizona and they know that we're great, but they just feel better seeing the guy in Phoenix or the woman in Phoenix because they live in Phoenix. And we get that. We get that.
Right.
All right.
Absolutely. So we've got a couple of questions already. And again,
Wow,
hello to TikTok. Guys, thank you so much for liking the videos that I put up and commenting and the direct messages. We really appreciate all the support on our fairly new TikTok page. But I'm going to put Rob.
Attorney, welcome back. Lots of good messages coming through.
Thank you. So Rob says, any news about B1, B2 visas? We have an interview on October 5th. Have not canceled yet. No, Rob, good job on getting the interview. I really hope that they don't cancel that interview. More power to you. And please report back and let us know whether that was canceled or not. But I'm excited for you. Hopefully they don't cancel it. Do you want to start with a couple of immigration updates?
Yeah, why don't you, while you're digesting, because I see that's a long question that
Ron just threw a big one at us right out of the gate. It's a good question though.
Yeah, so just while you're digesting that, let me just very
briefly.
Ron
calls it a quick question.
And then says sorry for the long question. Yeah.
It is quick. Like if you're talking a question, let me read it. You give the legislative update. Thank you, Ron. We're messing with you. Thank you. We want the question.
Yeah, for those of you who have been following the immigration reform prospects, you know that several months ago there was immigration legislation that was proposed. It, like most immigration legislation, at least since we've been practicing 20 plus years, a lot of fanfare, a lot of news coverage, and then it just completely stalled and we haven't heard much about it since. And so that, unfortunately, that's just kind of what happens in Washington, and it has for several years now, especially with immigration. However, if you've watched any of our prior Facebooks, you know I've talked about some of the ways that immigration may come through rather than just a straight immigration bill. There's an effort to attach some of the immigration legislation to a budget reconciliation bill. This would make it easier to pass because it would be able to get through with much slimmer majorities in the House, and it would also be able to bypass filibuster in the Senate. So where we are with that is that the Senate parliamentarian is going to be hearing arguments, I'm told, on Friday to see what her opinion is about whether or not the immigration proposals can be attached to a reconciliation bill. I don't want to bore everyone to death on this lovely Wednesday evening. But basically the deal is reconciliation is a process that involves bills that are spending bills. So they have to deal with the budget. And so this is not exactly like a surefire home run way to get it through. In fact, it's kind of a hard way to get it through because the Senate parliamentarian in the past has ruled that several things like raising the minimum wage, for example, didn't directly deal with budget and spending. So Friday, she is going to hear arguments. I will tell you, she's a former immigration attorney, so whether that'll help or hurt, I don't know. It depends.
What is it covering? What?
Well, basically, one side will be arguing that these provisions should be able to be attached to a budget bill and go through reconciliation. The other side will be arguing that they should not, that immigration reform may be a good thing, but it's not appropriate for it to come through a budget reconciliation process. And already, the original bill that was proposed dealt with a lot of different things. And what I'm hearing now is that if anything does get attached to it, it's going to involve DACA, TPS beneficiaries, farm workers, and there's also talk of trying to include folks that are deemed essential workers during the pandemic. So we're still hopeful that some of that will work and will go through, but even that is already a much tighter package than what we were talking about possibly when we were dreaming 4 or 5 months ago about some big reform. So that's where it is. I'll keep you posted. If the Senate parliamentarian rules that, yes, this stuff can be attached to a budget reconciliation, then it's going to be jackpot city for this stuff, because then it will probably get through, at least for those things. And, not that all of them aren't important. The DACA is something that is just really near and dear to us, because we've just had so many clients and so many really tough stories. And so, plus there was a federal judge in Texas who recently had ruled that it was unconstitutional. And then so the Supreme Court, that judge, enjoined future DACA applications. And so everything's on hold and pending right now with regard to that. And these are really sympathetic cases. I just talked to someone the other day, came to the United States from Mexico when he was 2 years old. He's almost 18 now. Yeah. He has, unfortunately, a serious traffic matter pending, and that will result in the DACA being taken and not renewed, and heading back to Mexico. And so when you really put your head around that, it's a hard thing to think about. So hopefully there'll be some good news, and I will certainly keep you posted. It's not going to come anytime soon. Senate parliamentarian is going to hear these arguments, but it'll probably be at least several months before we hear anything. All right.
Awesome. And we will continue. John will continue to keep you updated about what is happening with this immigration reform, where it's going, where it's not going. Just stay tuned, and we will let you know what's up. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, here's your long question.
Here's a long question.
The quick question. It's
going to cover us up. It's so long. It's okay. So Ron says, just a quick question. My father, who's currently in the United States as a lawful permanent resident, will apply for naturalization. My father petitioned me under the F2B. That is the unmarried son or daughter of a lawful permanent resident. When he naturalizes, my petition will become F1 category. Of course, that would be the unmarried son or daughter of a U.S. citizen. My question is, can I still bring my 4-year-old daughter with me as a derivative beneficiary under F1? I'm not married. I just have a child. Or perhaps once I get my green card and marry my girlfriend in the Philippines, I will need to file F2A for both of them, my wife and 4-year-old. So yes, quick answer, Ron, and it's such a good question. But yes, your 4-year-old daughter will still be a derivative beneficiary, even if you hop up to the F1 once your dad naturalizes. Now, I haven't taken a look. It depends on when a visa becomes available, but sometimes the F1 category is slower than F2B, and in that case, you can opt out of the F1 category. So that's something to watch as well. The other way works too, but why would your 4-year-old not just come with you? That works and it's faster. So of course, maybe the 4-year-old doesn't want to be separated from mom. And if that's the case, I would still have the child immigrate and, perhaps kind of travel back and forth. And I know that's hard. I know that's difficult, but I would just have her immigrate at the same time as you. So great question, and no worries about the long question.
I don't know if anyone saw that, but we have a massive storm going on here in Virginia Beach. So if you see lightning behind us, that's not a special effect.
It's not a special effect, and we have thunder too. So hopefully John and I don't get struck by lightning on the live stream. That would be, we would probably go viral at that point though, huh?
No doubt, especially on TikTok.
All right. So what questions, do we have any other questions on?
Okay, we do have some. Yeah. So green card holder wants to petition daughter, wants to know what form would they use for that?
Yeah. So if you're a lawful permanent resident, you can petition for any and all of your unmarried children. It doesn't matter the age of the unmarried child. That's something that I make a lot of videos about, because there still is not still, but there are a lot of people who just don't know as a lawful permanent resident who they can petition for. But for a family-based petition, the petition, the form that you use is the Form I-130, Form I-130, petition for alien relative.
Okay. And how about, can my U.S. spouse petition for me for my green card with my 3 daughters overseas at the same time?
Can my U.S. spouse?
So it looks like this is married to a U.S. citizen,
Okay.
I'm guessing here.
Okay.
U.S. citizen is going to petition for him for his green card. And I guess he has 3 daughters who are overseas. And I'm guessing he wants to know whether or not the petition can include the 3 daughters at the same time. Hopefully that's the right question.
Gotcha. So if, if everyone, it sounds like maybe the daughters are overseas.
Yep.
And then the spouse is in the United States.
That's correct.
So scenario is we have U.S. citizens, spouses in the United States, maybe on a different type of, on a tourist visa or an F1 visa. And that spouse has 3 children living abroad. Can the spouse file the one petition? Can the U.S. citizen spouse file the one petition for the spouse here and include the other daughters? If that spouse, the U.S. citizen spouse, is trying to petition for the 3 daughters as a U.S. citizen, then they have to be under the age of 18 when this couple got married, and that U.S. citizen spouse has to file an individual petition for each one of the daughters. So it kind of, Ron's question was to that point, it didn't count for Ron because his dad, he is not an immediate relative, but these children would be the immediate relative of the U.S. citizen spouse. So hopefully that answers that question.
Mm-hmm.
If it was off base or different facts, let us know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this question up here.
All
This
right.
is actually my aunt, Tita Miriam. How are you? She's in LA.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So she's asking this question here. I petitioned for her son, but she is not the biological mother. I did not adopt the son, but now the consul is asking for DNA. How can I do that? I'm not her true mom. So this question goes to adoption. So this happens a lot, and especially in the Philippines, Mexico, where a child is born, the child is not biologically the parent's, but a birth certificate perhaps is issued in their names, even though they're not the biological parent. And then, Tita Miriam files an I-130 petition for this adopted, well, child is not adopted, but this son who she sees as her son, maybe because she's, raised the son, has paid for schooling, has done everything, and has treated this child like her very own son, but it's not her biological son. So the question is, she's filed this petition, she didn't do the adoption, and now they're asking for DNA. But if she does DNA, then obviously it's going to come back. It's not her biological son. So I did a video about this, and basically, in order to petition for a child, you have to do an adoption, and you have to adopt that child prior to that child turning the age of 16. So I'm assuming, Tita Miriam, that he's over that age. And if that's the case, I mean, please call me. But you can call me anytime. But call me. But if he's over the age of adoption, over the age of 15, if he's 16, then it's too late to adopt him, and there's really nothing that you can do for that I-130 petition that you filed, unfortunately. So let me know if that's the case, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it. My mom's here, by the way. You should come to Virginia and come say hi to her. I know it's far, but thank you so much for that question. I get this question so much about adoption. It's just a lot of times there are a lot of children that get placed into loving homes in the Philippines, and unless you would unless you adopt that child, you're not going to be able to petition that child later on. So.
Yeah, and we had a similar question here, one of the first questions that came through, and we may need more information, but they want to ask how long it takes to petition a stepson.
How long does it take to petition a stepson?
Yeah.
It depends on a couple of things. So let me just say that under immigration law, a stepchild is treated like a biological child of the U.S. citizen or maybe the permanent resident. So, again, so long as that child-parent relationship is established, and that is established with a stepchild by mom, stepdad, and let's just say stepmom getting married prior to that child turning 18. Now, there's an exception for fiancés, but I'm not going to get into that. So, what was the question again? Oh, how long does it take? Okay, so if the child is, it just depends, right? It depends. Is the stepson over 21? Is the stepson under 21? Is the stepson in the United States? Is the stepson outside of the United States? If you file that petition, where does it go in the service? Like, there's so many different factors, and I don't know what the answers are because I don't know the specific facts. Right. So this is kind of a good point. This is a question that we get a lot of, right? We get a lot of how long does it take? And there are a lot of factors that go into it, and you really want to go in and speak to an immigration attorney. You want to go in, make an appointment, pay for that consultation, so what is the road? How long is it going to take? My son is 18 years old. We got married when he was 15, so he's the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen step parent. What do we have to do? Is he in the United States? Can we do an adjustment of status, an I-130 or I-45? Do we have to file the I-130 petition? There are just a lot of different factors, and I love the questions. There are only a certain number of characters that I can answer on TikTok, and I can't give legal advice anyway. John and I can't give legal advice on our live stream, but again, this is the time where you want to just pick up the phone.
Yes.
And I don't know where this person is located. If you're in LA, if you're on the West Coast and you want to talk to somebody on the West Coast, do it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to, call us. We would love it if you call us. We would love to have you as our client, but you don't have to. We're here because we want you to take that step of making a call. Somebody asked the question, like, should I hire an immigration lawyer?
We say this.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm a little biased, number one, but no, I absolutely think it's worth it if you can set aside the legal fees and the filing fees to hire an immigration lawyer. I mean, it's like if you have a complicated tax return, do you want to do the complicated tax return by yourself? We get so much exposure now because of our TikTok. And so I get so many questions, and there's just some of these questions break my heart. Some of them really break my heart because I'm seeing all of it. I'm seeing all. Before we were just in our office and we're meeting clients one-to-one. And so you're doing 4 or 5 appointments a day, 5 days a week. So let's just say you're seeing 20, 25 clients a week. We're seeing thousands of questions now, and a recent one that I can think of, and it's not terrible, but this gentleman from Haiti, he filed a petition for his mom while he was still a lawful permanent resident. And he's doing it all on USCIS online. And then we're talking back and forth in comments. And I was like, who told you that you could do this? He's like, well, they said I was qualified. Like, who did? Well, the USCIS online. So he's filling out, just like questionnaire, and they're saying, oh yeah, you can go ahead and file. It's a robot, right? It's not a real person. So he then became a US citizen a month later, but immigration has this thing, USCIS has this thing where your case has to be approvable when filed. When you file that I-130 petition, it has to be approvable when filed. He went and uploaded his certificate of naturalization. That case is not approvable when filed. You became a citizen after you filed the petition. So you're going to have to go ahead and file that petition again. Now, here's the thing, right? I'm not his lawyer, but if I were his lawyer, I would tell him to withdraw the petition right now, wait like 30 days, and file that petition again right away. But he's going to wait until it gets denied. You know how long it could take to get denied? It could take like 8 months, 9 months before they deny that case. So he's sitting on that petition, and he wanted to file the petition. He didn't want to wait, like he really wanted to do it because he wants to bring his mom here from Haiti. But I know what he's going to do. He's going to wait until that case gets denied. Look, I would withdraw it.
We say this
and file it.
We say this every week, and it's not just a plug for us. We say the same thing. We say, look, there's nothing that's more important than your immigration case. There are very few things that are more important. And you can self-file. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's an option. It's legal to do that. But why you would take your chances with something this important without consulting with a professional expert, I would not recommend it at all. And it doesn't have to be us. As I said before, if you want to talk to somebody that's closer to you or that you like more or whatever, but you should absolutely talk to someone. You should talk to an immigration lawyer. You should get their assistance. It is absolutely worth it to do it right, so you don't have to worry about it.
Right, absolutely. And not only that, but with the filing, the processing times taking so long these days, we're with you from the filing. And we're with you from the filing to the end of that. And sometimes it's a couple of years, and you want someone on your side to be able to check in and be calling the 1-800 number, advising to do a congressional liaison if that's the case. So anyway, I don't even know what the initial question was, but
here's the thing. Let me just, we're getting too far on it. We're going to get back to these questions, I promise you. But we just, when we took our daughter up to college, we were in an RV. All right, and I've never been in an RV before. And I can tell you, there was a learning curve. And the whole time I kept thinking, wow, this is just like the self-filers, because I was just kind of figuring this stuff out. And it wasn't until we were done with the trip that I really understood how to do the RV stuff correctly. I had it all down, but it took me 10 days. And you know what? If all I had was that time, if it was a critical that I know it in the day one, or if a mistake in day one would have ruined our trip, then that would have been too slow of a learning curve for me. All right. So, boy, it would have been nice to just have somebody with us on board who was an expert, who could just show me how to do all of it and do it all for me and teach me if I wanted to learn it along the way. All right. So you don't want to be learning about the immigration laws while you're working on your own case, because like Radlin said, you can make a really, really big mistake, and it could be not just costly in terms of time and money. It may be, we've seen it be literally fatal to the case, a mistake that can't be fixed. It can't be corrected. You're just, you're dead. Your case is over.
Right.
All right. Okay. That's our preaching.
That's our preaching.
On behalf of all immigration lawyers all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And again, one of the worst cases I've seen recently was a mom filed for her daughter, and the daughter was over 21, so it was in a long category. Why are you looking at the questions? I'll tell the story.
Yeah.
And because it takes a long time for a visa to become available for the child over 21 of a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. I don't know which one she fell under, but the case was not approved right away by USCIS. All right. So the case is in the pending status. They haven't approved the case. Meanwhile, mom passes away. Okay. Mom passes away. After mom passes away, daughter gets a request for evidence. And the request for evidence is, mom filed this without submitting the birth certificate of the child. Now you have to show that this is your daughter. So you must submit your birth certificate. It's a document that you must show. I'm surprised it just didn't get denied. And I just was like, it's too late, because if this case had been approved, like if she had submitted the birth certificate and proof that she was a lawful permanent resident at the time of filing, this case would have been approved. There would have been no request for evidence. And if it got approved and then mom passed away, then there could have been humanitarian reinstatement for this case. But because the case was not approved, and it couldn't be approved before mom died, she died, there's nothing to do. We couldn't do anything. And it was a really hard consultation. This lady was in the UK. It was and it was during COVID. It's a really, really tough consultation for me because I had to tell this bad news. We have to tell bad news all the time, but it didn't have to happen that way. It just did not have to happen that way. We could have done humanitarian reinstatement, and that's my sad story of the night. My mom's here. Your mom's here. Hello, mothers.
Yes, and my Aunt Jill.
And Aunt Jill's here. Yes, super cool. And yes, to
Very
Miriam, I'll send you my cell phone number.
Okay, so here we have a question. Somebody wants to know, how much time does it take, if you know, for USCIS to approve an I-360 as a religious worker?
Those are taking a long time now. They're taking a long time now. We recently just got a processing time change for an I-360 that we're filing, and it tacked on. Don't quote me on this, but it tacked on almost a year. And again, don't quote me on this. This was from a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, it's taken a long time.
Okay.
Especially if there hasn't been a site visit by USCIS to the religious organization, the church or the synagogue or whatever it is. But yeah, it takes a while.
Okay, whoops, I just had one here that, I don't know if you wanted to talk about this again. Let's see, it was...
Let me just look real quick.
Okay, this is you've talked about this some tonight.
And I do want to just really just say, guys, that it's super easy to check processing times on USCIS. And we talked about it last time, and there's a video on it on TikTok. But you just Google case processing times. You can put your the form number in and the service center where it is. And this particular one is saying that it's taking 20 to 26 and a half months for an I-360. Wait a minute. Is this for religious workers though? No, sorry. This is for widow. So sorry, guys. I'm trying to do this really quickly. Go ahead and read that question.
I slipped away again.
Sorry.
Here we go. Yeah. Want to adopt my cousin. She is 6 years old. Once she becomes an adult, will she be able to bring her dad?
No.
Okay, so I want to make sure that
that's long and short of that answer.
Yeah. Okay, the answer to that is no. Let's see.
Uh-oh, are we frozen? No, we're not. That was just you looking.
Sorry, I was looking at TikTok.
Sorry.
Okay, here's a question. She wants to know if she can live away from her sponsor of her green card, or whether they have to be living together. So I guess that's a marriage petition, I'm guessing, and wants to know if, as part of that marriage petition, whether they have to be living together or whether they can be doing that process and living apart.
The I-130 petition?
I think so.
Yeah, you can be living apart if you have an I-130 petition pending. You can even be living apart if you have the green card application pending. It just depends on why are you living apart, right? Here in the Hampton Roads area, this is a military town. We have a lot of couples living apart.
Yes.
If we're just talking about a simple I-130, you're definitely going to be living apart from your spouse because you're in the Philippines or Mexico or wherever, and your spouse is here in the United States. So if you're in the United States and you're going through the green card application process and you're living in the same city and you're living apart and there's really no reason for it, it goes to is this a bona fide marriage? Is this a real marriage or not?
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. She's followed up that it's not a spouse, it's her father-in-law that's sponsoring
the family. Yeah.
Does, and lives in a different state.
No, you do not have to be living together.
So they're living in a different state.
Yep.
That's not a problem. Okay.
All good. Who wants to live with your in-law? Just kidding. My in-law's on here.
I can't imagine living
Oh,
with
right.
my in-laws because I mean it'd be so far away. It'd be in the Philippines.
We're just teasing because both
Yeah.
of our moms are
I
on
know.
here. It's
Let's see.
anyway. While you're looking at that, let me give a quick immigration update. So, for those of you who have a 2-year green card, the conditional resident card for 2 years, and you have filed your I-751, the petition to remove your conditions on lawful permanent residency. Now, a lot of people who watch and tune in are actually affected by this. So if you filed your I-751, you on or after September 4th, you will be getting a receipt notice. And the receipt notice also serves as an extension of your lawful permanent resident status. It used to be a 1-year extension. Then it became an 18-month extension. Now they are issuing with this notice a 2-year extension of your lawful permanent resident card because it is taking that long to process the I-751 petition. So if you guys are not in this boat, you have no clue what I'm talking about. But for those of you who are in this boat, which there are a lot of people, if you filed your 751 on or after September 4th, your receipt notice is going to say your green card is extended for 2 years. And if you filed it before September 4th, you will be getting a notice from USCIS saying, hey, it's extended for 2 years. So look out for that. And also, guys, make sure that if you are going through this process, this 751 is taking a really long time. Remember, you can file your N400 application even while your 751 is pending. All right.
Okay, let's see.
Let's see. I got another question here from Kimberly. Should put this up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was going to get to one here, but let's take
Oh, no,
this
go
one.
ahead.
No,
go ahead.
this is.
All right, let's put this up here.
Yep.
Kimberly, I just filed an I-130 petition for my mom and dad and recently got a receipt number for both of them. My dad was diagnosed with a stage 2 cancer, and I was thinking of applying for his case to be expedited as he get better medical treatment in the United States. Are you able to advise the best way to do this? If his case gets approved to be expedited, is there any chance my mom's case gets expedited too, and they can come here together? Thank you both. We're really sorry to hear about your dad. That's tough, especially when you want to try to bring the family together and bring him here. As far as expediting, you can always try. That's what I always tell people as far as expediting is concerned. It is tough to get cases expedited. And I would say that we'd probably have to do more of like try to get him here on a tourist visa. And if that got denied, I mean, it's hard. I can't even say, but it's so hard because it's difficult to get an interview. It's possible though. It's possible. So if there's some type of treatment that he could receive here in the United States that's not available wherever you are, then that's a little twist that you can put on it, and that you have appointments lined up, and that he can get treated here. Question: can mom's case be expedited too? Possibly, if we can show that, hey, she's going to be accompanying him and taking care of him, and making sure he takes all of his medications. He needs assistance. It just depends on the facts of the case. It really just depends on the facts of the case. But it's a good question, and hopefully your dad gets better.
Yeah. Here's somebody on TikTok whose application for adjustment of status is at the NBC, the National Benefits Center.
Okay.
And they want to know, is that like a cause for concern? Is that a bad thing?
No. It's all good.
It's all good. There you go.
It's all good. And hopefully you'll get your interview soon. Whatever city you're in, you can check interview processing times. I have a video about that on TikTok, but you can just also Google USCIS processing times. It's one of the first links that pops up. Remember, if you go check processing times, if you download a form from USCIS.gov, you do not have to pay for any of that stuff. Okay, it's all free. So if you click on a link and it says, hey, you need to pay $5, check your processing times, don't click on the link. It's just free. USCIS.gov. Hope that helps.
Yeah. Okay, you got anything there?
No questions here.
All right. How about I applied for a green card when my son was 19, I guess for him. If it is approved after he turns 21, does he lose it?
Is she a citizen or a green card holder?
Don't know that.
Okay.
Don't have that info. Yeah, I want to see if there's any follow-up. There's not any follow-up here.
Okay, I'm scanning for questions here as well. Thank you guys for all of these great questions. And while John is looking at that, I just want to remind everyone how to reach us if you want to get more information, or if you want to get more assistance. There are a few ways to reach us. You can go the old-fashioned way and call us at 757-464-9224. You can shoot us an email at info, that's info, at gmlaw.net. You can send us a message through Messenger, our Gardner Mendoza Facebook page, Messenger. You can send us a direct message through TikTok. Direct message through TikTok, I'm the only one that's manning that, so I'm having a hard time keeping up with that, but you can send it there. I think that probably the best way is to call or text us at 757-464-9224. Second best is an email, info@gmlaw.net. But the other ways, especially Messenger, we're monitoring that daily. And if you want to send us a message through there, that's perfectly great and fine. We try to make it easy for everyone.
Yeah, I'm trying to field these questions with TikTok. One of the downsides of the TikTok questions is they're very short, and sometimes a lot of facts and details are missing that we would need.
Because I think you can only type in a certain. Yeah, if you guys want to get your full question, like we put Kimberly's up and it took up the whole page. Go ahead and join us
it's the better route to go
on Facebook. And for these updates, we are here every week on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And please like and follow our page and share it with anyone you might think would benefit from this information. So there's a lot going on with immigration on the one hand, and then on the other hand, there's not a lot going on with immigration, right? I mean, we have updates that, we've got TPS for several different countries going on right now. That's wonderful. And they're trying to get some more money approved for folks in Afghanistan who helped our military and are applying to get special visas because of their assistance with the U.S. military. And there is a lot going on again, but as far as kind of what affects the day-to-day bread and butter things that Gardner Mendoza does, we help people with filing citizenship, filing petitions, consular processing, adjustments of status, H-1Bs, perms, as well as E-2 investor visas. So a lot of those things are the same, except for processing times, which again, they're longer. They're longer now because of COVID. And of course, what we've been talking about sort of in day out is just the massive backlog of people waiting to be interviewed. But we are definitely seeing some movement. So our clients, a couple of our clients just went to Ciudad Juarez in Mexico to interview after waiting 2 years. Yeah, their case was documentarily qualified. Is that the right word? Documentarily qualified.
Yeah, can you repeat that? Because there were some questions here about that we're going to get to.
So things are moving. It's just moving really slowly. And I think it was a month ago when we were reporting that it's a 600,000 person waiting to be interviewed backlog, which is a huge backlog. And so things are moving, but they are trickling. But we are seeing stuff coming out of National Visa Center. Don't get super excited when National Visa Center says, we have everything that we need for your case. Right. And it's still sitting there. It's going to still sit there because.
And what was the timeline for those clients that were Juarez?
It was 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, it was 2 years.
Did you hear that?
So for Ciudad Juarez, we had some. They're moving right now, but the one that I, just am intimately familiar with, that was 2+ years, and they've been documentary qualified for a while now. So
All right.
I just thought maybe they forgot about us, but they didn't.
All right, here's a very open-ended question. So, husband is an immigrant. He came here on a visa that has expired now. We are now married and have a child. So, this is a U.S. citizen.
Oh, she
had somebody here who was on a visa, a visitor visa.
okay.
Then they got married and had a child. His visa has expired and wants to know what are their options now.
The first thing you should do is call us.
Yeah.
So the options. I'm going to just go generally speaking. Generally speaking, a person in the United States on a tourist visa and their stay has expired, if they marry a U.S. citizen and they're in a bona fide marriage and a bona fide relationship, you have a child together, that's awesome. That's awesome for immigration lawyers. Makes our job easier. It's not the be all end all. You still have to submit other documentation, but we like to see children.
Then bona fide marriage evidence.
Yeah, it really is. Then the U.S. citizen spouse can file the I-130 petition for their spouse and concurrently file the green card application along with the other documents that go with the green card application, like the medical, the affidavit of support. I would file the work permit application as well as advanced parole, even though you're not going to travel, and all the supporting documents like the marriage certificate, if you've ever been married before, the divorce decrees, 2 passport photos, affidavit of support stuff like tax returns, W-2s, pay stubs, birth certificates, proof of U.S. citizenship, all that stuff. And you can file it concurrently and generally speaking, adjust the status, even though you have, even though your tourist visa stay has expired. So that is the good news. Don't wait around because you don't think the person you're going to be able to do something about it. File now.
And I'm glad you asked that question
because
that's a common set of facts that we see a lot of. And so now you all know. Now you know the answer to your question, and anyone else who's in a similar boat knows what the options are. And I just want to say this is really cool. Aaron Gonzalez has a question here, and he was on TikTok because I saw his question, and I was working to get to it.
Aaron came to Facebook. And like our page, Aaron.
He jumped from TikTok over to Facebook to make sure that it got answered, and that's what's going to happen now.
Way to go, Aaron. I'm going to reward Aaron here.
Yes.
Aaron, the question I have is, what's it for? What's the approval notice for? I'm guessing fiance visa. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna need more information.
Write that in there, Aaron, so we can answer that. What's the approval notice for? Is it time to get everything done? A lot of great questions. Always right. Gosh, I'm like, I knew it was a fiance visa. Anyway, so no, it's not enough time to get it all done. But don't worry, they're extending that. They're going to extend the time if you don't get everything done through the National Visa Center. So what's going to happen? Well, first off, congratulations, Aaron, on getting that I-129F approved. Hooray, hooray! Can you put in the comments how long it took you to get that approval? And so what will happen next is USCIS will transfer that to the National Visa Center. And that transfer, I don't know why, usually takes like 60 days, sometimes longer. So what are we, September to October, October to November, November to December, if it takes longer than 60 days. They're going to transfer it. And then, depending on the interview schedule it for an interview after, all that. So it's not going to be enough time, but not to worry because they will extend that. So don't worry about that. It took 8 months for Aaron to get his I-129F approved. So that's really, really good information because, on the website, it's like I don't know what it says actually as of today, but the last time I looked, it was around the 9-month mark, and Aaron got his approved in 8 months. Aaron, I won't talk about the glory days of fiance visa approval to you right now, but 8 months, good job. It's so hard to see 8-month approvals when previously they were approving them, within 3-4 months. But hey, whatever works. Good luck to you and to your fiance. But congrats on getting that approved. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope you get the interview. That's the thing. That's the holdup. Still from my clients. Just trying to be real. I mean, John and I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We are often the bearer of bad news, being attorneys. John works with a lot of the accused.
The accused, that's right.
And
defendants.
Right. I mean, it's hard, but we have to do it. And it's hopefully they fix the interview situation, Aaron, for your sake and for your fiance's. It's tough to be a part. I know.
And most of my clients haven't really done anything real serious, but under immigration law they have. And so what's would be sort of a pretty minor thing for a U.S. citizen, for them becomes a real dangerous situation because they're in jeopardy of getting deported because of it. All right.
We're not going to lecture.
We're not
that.
Nope. We've done that a million times.
We should. We probably should do like 10 minutes of lecturing every Wednesday night. Since Mia's gone now, so we can't lecture her.
I'm not going to lecture. I'm not going to tell anyone tonight to not get close to marijuana, even if they're in a state where it's legal. You're in a state where it's legal and you're not a U.S. citizen, stay away from it. That's all I'm saying tonight.
Yeah. Right? Don't
just because it's legal in your state does not mean that it's legal under federal immigration law. So be careful.
Yeah. And also, guys, be careful with voting. I'm seeing a lot of people registering inadvertently to vote through the DMV or just a piece of paper. That you just be careful with voting if you're not a U.S. citizen. That's just
the goal of getting people registered to vote is so aggressive right now.
So aggressive, yeah.
That folks are getting things telling them, "Oh, you're approved. Here, sign here and go vote." And a lot of people don't know better. They're like, "Oh, well, it's from the government. It's telling me to do it."
Yeah.
Okay. How about somebody? How can they check the status of their petition? They just received their receipt notice.
Oh, good. Just Google USCIS case status.
Okay. USCIS case status.
Yeah, and it's right there. It's on their homepage. How to check. You just put your receipt number in, and it will show you what's going on with it. If you just got the receipt notice, nothing's going on with it right now, but it's good to have that. You could also sign up for text and email alerts if you open up a case status with USCIS account.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great questions.
Yeah,
Rob wants to know, how long do fiancés visas normally take? Any idea? So there, again, a lot of people don't realize that the fiancé visa is really a 3-step process. The first step is the filing the fiancé visa petition, I-129F. That took Aaron 8 months to get approved. Once that gets approved, then you have to go through the State Department. That takes 60 to 90 days to transfer your case over there. You complete the DS-160. You pay the fees there. Then once that's done, this is where it's getting clogged right now, guys. It's for an interview, an interview for interviewing the fiance to issue that fiance visa because of the backlog. So normally, pre-COVID, the fiance would be in the United States within about 6 months. Okay, normally pre-COVID. Once the fiance gets to the United States, then there's that third step. And this third step is to file the green card application. And a green card application for someone who has entered the United States on a K-1, a fiancé visa, takes longer than an adjustment of status green card application. So you're looking at another 18 months in waiting for the green card to get approved, waiting for your interview, waiting for that green card to get approved. In the meantime, you can file for the work permit application and advance parole so you can travel while this is pending. But that's really the whole journey of the fiancé visa. It just doesn't stop at the 8 months to get the approval. Aaron has a few more steps to go. And And it's now, you know, again, even when the fiance is here, the journey to get the green card is long. It's a long one. So hopefully Aaron signed off and didn't hear all that. I'm just kidding. It's good to know that. He probably already knows that.
Okay. So Aman here wants to know, he said he got his I-94 from the website, and he wants to know if it's a problem that his passport is not stamped.
Not a problem.
Okay, you hear that, Aman? Not a problem.
They don't do that anymore. Well, I mean, you know, yeah, the I-94 is what governs. So if you guys have come in on a tourist visa or some other type of non-immigrant visa, you have to get your I-94 from Customs and Border Protection website, CBP lookup. And that's the only document that, you know, unless they stamp, you know, he didn't get stamped, but that's the only document that will show you like when you're supposed to leave the United States. So make sure you grab that and know what your departure date is supposed to be so you don't overstay in the United States when they don't stamp. And even if they stamp, it could be wrong, right? The human can put a wrong date on it. And even with the I-94, if you have an error on the I-94, even from CBP, like you're looking at it and maybe it's not the right amount of time, that can also get corrected. So a couple options there.
All right. How about U.S. citizen wants to know if, whoops, she just went away, if he or she can fill out a form I-130 for her sister who is over 21 years old.
Yes. Now, this is an interesting question, guys, because I got this question before and I did a video on it, and there were so many questions about the video that I did. So you can file for your sibling as a U.S. citizen no matter how old the sibling is. Now, you yourself, you have to be 21, but it doesn't matter how old your sibling is, and your sibling can also be married. So again, just information that I just thought everyone knew.
All right. Well, now March knows it as well.
Awesome. Spread the word that even though, because the 21, guys, is an age out date for immigration purposes. And that's why I think people are like, oh, if the person's over 21, I can't file for my sibling anymore. That's not true.
All right. These are timing questions, and I know these are hard to answer.
Timing questions, I don't.
Timing questions, we try to kind of steer clear a little bit.
Yeah, we steer clear, but what's the timing question?
Because there's so many variables, and
yeah, so many.
What was filed, where it was filed, what the facts are.
Right. Yeah.
Mom has a green card, lives with me, and she filed for my sibling 2 years ago. How long will it take? Oops.
Depends on the well. Let me just really quickly, because I now want to know. So this question is, when is mom's child's visa going to be available? Mom's a permanent resident. How old is this child?
Mom has a green card.
How old is the child?
Filed for her sibling. She just says 2 years ago. Don't know how old the sibling
let's
was.
just assume over the age of 21. Do you know the country?
Nope.
See, guys, there's so many different variables.
There's a couple things we'd need to know that give you a better answer, but
yeah. So I'm just looking at the September visa bulletin for final action dates. If mom is a permanent resident and filed for the unmarried son or daughter, and they're from the Philippines, that is taking 10 years. Yeah. So if they're from Mexico, then the process, the visa availability, they're processing cases that were filed March 15th of 2000. What is that? 21 years? Yeah. If they're from India, then that's processing cases filed on or before September 22nd, 2015. Same for China and same for all other countries. So Mexico and the Philippines are the ones that are longer in this case.
Okay.
Different if mom is did you say, yeah, mom is a permanent resident, right?
Permanent resident.
Okay. So
here's an interesting question. This person became a U.S. citizen last month and wants to petition for her mother.
Yeah.
But her mother has a voluntary departure, I guess, in her past. I don't know if it's currently pending or whether it's something that already occurred.
Mom has voluntary departure. I mean, I would want to know more about the, what happened with that. Look at the immigration paperwork from immigration court. But if you have voluntary departure, and if you were subject to the 10-year bar, and the 10 years has passed, or the 3-year bar and the 3 years has passed, Mom, she should be able to immigrate. But again, that's the type of question that an immigration attorney like me would need to know more about. And I would definitely not, I'm giving out general information here, like, check the USCIS website, but that is very case specific, and any immigration lawyer would want to take a look at that voluntary departure paperwork before saying, yeah, go ahead and file that petition. Mom can immigrate. Mom will be able to immigrate though, at some point. Just don't know when for right now.
Okay.
Ray's coming up. Ray is our alarm clock. She's our 10-year-old is
our
up
10-year-old
here.
comes at 9 o'clock.
She says no more questions, Mom and Dad. It's time for bed.
She gives us a
time to help me study for my science test.
Okay, folks. Well,
guys, it's been super.
Clock has gone off, and we are over an hour, so that's what that's our time.
Super fun. And before we go, I just want to thank you all again for your great questions.
Thanks,
Please follow us on Facebook. You can also, follow me on TikTok, and we will be here again on next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Bring your questions. You can bring them in TikTok.
Come here.
But again, you saw what Aaron did. He went from TikTok over to Facebook, and boom,
he got it. Plus, we talked about Aaron's case. Like,
exactly.
We did the whole trajectory of what's going to happen with this case. So,
all right.
Ray, do you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks to our moms and aunts and everyone who came on tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great to know that you're out there watching. All right.
Bye, guys. Have a great night. Take care.
Bye,
We're going to do 2 thumbs up. Buns, can you join us? 2 thumbs up. All right. That's a whole lot of thumbs.
That's
all right,
a lot
everyone.
of thumbs.
Have a good night. Take care.
Take care.
Bye, guys.